Hi, everyone, and welcome to Mely and OG. That was funny. Oh my gosh. So today is really, really special because we're going to talk about something really, really near and dear to your heart. Very special.
Yes.
Right?
This is my baby.
Your baby.
My baby.
That's awesome.
My 2020 baby.
Your 2020 COVID baby.
Yes.
So y'all are going to want to stay tuned
Yes,
because it's coming and we're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. My name is Mely, and this is
OG.
OG. So guess what I get to do today? I get to interview OG. And guess what I get to interview him about? His book. His book. So before I get into really anything else, let me just show you. This is his book called The Healing of Skar. Looks really cool. Tell me a little bit about I just want to know about the cover.
So the cover actually has a big meaning. I actually did it. My mom took the picture. We were in Phoenix, and she just saw me obviously standing there. And it's crazy because a lot of people think that if you look at the picture around my neck, that that's part of the shirt. It's actually headphones.
Oh,
it's actually headphones
cool.
around my neck, but it came with it. There's also a Southwest plane. So I do work for Southwest Airlines, and we got a Southwest plane on the
So it
side.
was meaningful. That's
Yes.
really cool.
So it's also like my dedication to my mom as well.
Okay. Oh, that's so sweet. That's awesome. So when did you actually start writing this book?
I started writing it in June. It was the first Monday of June.
June of this year?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I finished it in a week.
Wow.
Yeah, finished it in a week.
That's a really short time. That's good. So like, what was your inspiration? How did you finish? That's a really short time to finish a book. So I'm just wondering.
It is. Yeah. So what it was is just, it was technically 10 years in the making because I started writing my poetry in the 10th grade. But, and I just saved the papers. And then it's crazy because like a lot of people thought that I wasn't going to make it or people weren't going to buy the book. So then they're like, why? Like, why are you saving all these poems? I'm like, it's because one day I just knew I had that vision.
Yep.
So sure enough.
Okay, wait. You got to tell me that quote that you said earlier about why you write this story and somebody's what struggle?
Yes. So what
you got to tell me.
Yes.
Or got to tell them. What is it?
So what it is I read a quote one day that really inspired not only my book but everything in my life. It talks about how your story, your journey can be someone else's survival guide, and that's so powerful because a lot of us, when we're going through pain, emotions, or just anything what life kind of brings at you, because life's not perfect and it's never going to be, but when you go through those things, you forget that, or sometimes you get caught up in being alone. Like you feel like it's just
Absolutely.
you,
Yeah.
So like I wanted to make sure that someone out there knew that they weren't going through this alone.
Oh, that's really awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of like
so cool.
My way of like air hugging everybody.
Air hug, yes, especially in Corona times. People.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Well, what about so when you actually started to sit down and write, what was your inspiration?
Oh man, honestly, everyone that said I couldn't do it. Like it's crazy because I had a lot of friends that you could say that they were challenging me, and what I mean by that is that they were like, "Oh, well, why don't you take it to a publisher?" I wanted to do it on my own because I wanted to have the creative force behind it. Because it's not that I was against the idea. It was just that when you have something and you're married to something like that project, you want that everything to be
yours.
Yes,
it's your baby.
Yes, exactly.
Totally get it. Okay, really cool. So about this book, you're going to share with us a story about. Well, let me ask you something.
Yes, go ahead.
Without any marketing, with just sharing, how many copies have you sold?
Oh man, 166 so far.
Y'all, 166 copies of this book. No marketing. Well, I guess you share it with friends, sure. But everybody just wants a copy because they want to read what you write.
Yes.
Now, tell me the story, though, about it was a little girl who you said was dancing.
Oh, yes.
That I feel like that was part of your inspiration, was it not?
Yes, it was. I actually have two stories for you.
Two stories.
So the first one, the little girl, at work, we're always inspired to always show our hospitality but care. And we were part of this, what's called our SWAT team. And we were doing the gates, just playing music. And then there was this little girl that came up. She started dancing with me because I just love to dance. And who doesn't get paid? Like if I told you you're gonna get paid to dance, come on, like let's go. But so then we, you just couldn't take that smile off of her face. And you just never know what people go through. And this is why this story is so important to me. Is that when I went to go check on the song, a guy came up to me randomly and he was just crying and in tears. And I'm just like, what happened? Like, just like natural nature, nature versus nurture. And he was like, this is my daughter and she's 4 years old. And for her whole life, she's always been in a box to herself. And this is the first time I've ever seen her like outside of that box. And he was just crying because it's thanks to us and the team that she got to experience that. So it's just like, that's why I say to you, like, you never know what someone's going through, and that one small act of kindness can really go far.
Yep, for sure.
The second story is actually one that happened recently. When I got my first copy of the book, it meant a lot to me because obviously it's my book. But I was actually upstairs with a pilot, 57-year-old pilot, right? And he asked me, he's like, "Oh, well, what's the book about?" And I told him it's about my life experiences and a lot of different things. And he's like, "Well, no offense to you, Oscar, but he's like, how old are you?" And I'm like, "I'm 25. He's like, "Well, what does a 25-year-old have to tell a 57-year-old about life?" And I was like, "It's okay. I've been discredited before. You get that." But again, you can't say that because you just never know someone's journey.
Yeah.
So I invited him to read a poem. It's called "I Was Born a Fighter." I actually wrote that, inspiring for everyone.
Yep.
It's towards the last part.
Towards the last, right?
And he started crying.
Oh.
He actually started crying. He looked at me. He's like, "I want to thank you for telling my story because this is my story."
Oh my god.
So it's crazy because, like, me, a 25-year-old, telling the story of a 57-year-old man.
You never know that.
And that's what I like about it.
That is so cool. That is so freaking cool. So I'm going to actually ask you about something because I read it and I really liked it.
Oh.
Here, 91. Second chances. Now, obviously, like anyone I think what I like about your book is that you don't tell anyone what these stories are about in your life, which means I can read this and, relate to it, right? And put it into my scenario and say, okay, wow, this is what I'm going through. This is really cool to read because it's helpful. So, called Second Chances. I'm just going to read like 3 sentences, but I want you to give me some feedback on this. I know they say you should not let your past hold you back. And truth be told, I try not to. I met someone and they are amazing, understanding of my pain, patient with my pain, and I cannot seem to shake off the feeling of my past. I have to ask, where did that evoke emotion? Like, what is that?
So,
you don't have to tell me like the personal story. You don't have to tell us, but like
I want to because it's so big. And so that one was inspired. I actually so something happened to me many years ago. It actually was, I was molested years ago for 1.5 years. And a lot of people don't understand that going through something like that, it can really cause issues with your intimacy. And that's what it affected me personally. It was just that when it came to intimacy, I just struggled because it could be a simple touch, it could be a simple move, it could be just something that, so something small, and it triggered me. So with that, I met someone and I actually started talking to them, and they understand it. Because when I was talking about it in the beginning with other people in my past, they would get kind of scared and be like, "Oh, you're damaged goods, bye."
Yes,
And with me, it was just like, this person was the first person that actually that gave me hope, and that poem just means so much to me because you just see a lot of my emotions. You get to understand my point of view from that perspective.
I like that a lot. And I mean, I can relate to that in a different sense, right? But I think that's actually, you touched on something like really important. What kind of advice would you give anyone, or just thoughts, not even advice, for people that have been in the same situation and they've been told you're damaged goods? Like, I'm not going there, because I hear that a lot in relationships, like just different scenarios, like different things happen, like, oh, you've been divorced. Oh, okay, damaged goods. Or, oh, you're bisexual, damaged goods. Like, I just feel like that's really common nowadays for people just to like write someone off for it. But what would you say?
My opinion towards that would be, just 2 things. So the first thing would be, you have to love yourself first before anyone else can love you in your life. And a lot of us look for the world to complete us. So look for, friends, family, and so on and so forth. And you can't. You have to look at yourself because you have everything within you to make yourself complete. And everyone, like when it comes to relationships, whether it's friendships or even like partners, they're supposed to add on to your completeness, not complete you.
Yep.
The second thing would be, I feel like a lot of people choose to quickly judge people. You're always looking for the wrong. Well, in this world, when you look for the wrong, you're always going to find it.
Yeah.
My thing is, as a person that was called useless, worthless, stupid, a moron, just everything that bad in the book, I took all of that negativity and turned it into positivity. How? By taking all those broken pieces and taking all what everyone left as trash and turning it into the best damn masterpiece that you could ever think of.
That's amazing.
And that's what I encourage everyone to do.
That's so cool. Well, that's awesome. So, OG. What's next for you? I mean, this is an amazing book, so y'all need to make sure you buy it.
It's on Amazon, $7.
It's on Amazon. But what's next?
I'm actually writing book 2.
He's writing a book 2!
And book 2 is going to be a lot deeper. So you're going to get a perspective of my life, but it's not going to be poems. It's actually going to be kind of like my autobiography. I'm not going to give too much away, but I will say that you're going to get to see me in my life. And I'll tell you why I did what I did. I have a lot of people after my first book come up to me and ask me, well, you talk about all these things, you know, but what kind of tools can you use to help me get through this? Yeah. So it's going to be kind of like
a resource.
Yes.
Oh, really cool. Okay.
So you're going to get to see like 5-year-old me, 6-year-old me, you know, different things like when my dad left when I was 5, you know, you're just going to get to know a lot of my story. Because a lot of people ask me, they're like, you can tell that you've been through a lot of pain, but what is it? Yeah. Well, I'm going to go more in depth.
Yeah, because this kind of tells you like, this is how you healed through your pain.
Yes.
What was your pain?
And see, a lot of people ask me about the title. They're like, well, what does the Healing of Skar mean? I'm like, well, you're going to get a preview of what is to come.
Right. That's awesome.
And even Skar itself. So when you take my first name, Oscar, and you take out the O and actually change the C to a K, that's where Skar originated from. And like I said earlier, like I changed all my scars into something beautiful.
Very good. Yeah. Oh, I love it. Change your scars into something beautiful or accept them as they are.
And that's what I say Skar season, guys. Like I literally encourage everyone just to basically like look at your own scars, whether damaged goods or whatever a case may be. If you were called worthless, stupid, or whatever it is, turn it into something positive and make it into the most beautiful thing about you.
That's so amazing. Well, thank you so much, Oscar. OG. So don't forget, his book is on Amazon, $7. Please buy it. He's coming out with book number 2. When should we expect book number 2?
It's going to be towards the end of this year.
Okay. Holy cow. Okay, towards the end of this year. Yes, he's a fast writer.
Yes, I am. Obviously in a week.
Awesome. Well, thanks, everyone.
Thank you, guys, and thank you for coming. I appreciate you more than the world.
And we got to end this with Mely and OG.